What was your gut reaction when you saw that clip on social media?
I was disgusted by it. And I don't know why Catholics tolerate it. We shouldn't.
Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Dinesh, a Catholic commentator from Sydney, Australia. My dear Catholic brothers and sisters, many of you are likely aware of the shocking mockery of the Eucharist that took place involving Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer using a Dorito chip to mimic the sacred act of giving communion. Naturally, this act has sparked outrage among Catholics, not just in the US but globally. In the face of such blatant disrespect toward our faith, many of us are left wondering, how should we respond? Should we ignore these provocations, or is it our duty to rise up and defend what we hold sacred? Like many of you, I struggled with this question too. I found myself torn between staying silent and taking a stand until I came across Bishop Barron's thoughtful response to this situation. His perspective gave me clarity on how we might approach this issue. Let's take a moment to listen to Bishop Barron, and afterward I will share my comments. Let's dive in.
Clear mockery of the Catholic Mass I thought was breathtaking. Like when I was a kid, you know who the governor was of Michigan when I was a kid was George Romney, who was the father of Mitt Romney. George Romney, who was a Mormon. I couldn't imagine George Romney mocking, in a public way, mocking the Catholic Mass. But somehow mainline politicians in our country feel they can get away with that. It's outrageous, and Catholics should not tolerate that. It was completely uncalled for. And again, I'll say the same thing I said in the wake of the Olympic thing. Could you imagine mocking Islam in a similar way? And the question answers itself.
Or Judaism, or any
Judaism. The question answers itself. But somehow, when it comes to Catholicism, you know, it's fair game.
What was your gut reaction when you saw that clip on social media?
I was disgusted by it, and I don't know why Catholics tolerate it. We shouldn't.
Just to summarize what Bishop Barron discussed, we must first remember that the US Constitution explicitly protects religious freedom and prohibits any form of religious discrimination. That's why it's so alarming to witness a prominent politician, someone entrusted with upholding these constitutional rights, openly mock Catholicism, one of the largest religions in the world. Disrespecting the Eucharist, which is central to our faith, not only violates the principles of tolerance and religious respect enshrined in American law, but also deeply offends millions of Catholics worldwide. This situation raises an important question. Would such blatant mockery be tolerated if it were directed at other major religions like Islam or Judaism? It's difficult to imagine that it would be. For example, if a political figure openly ridiculed sacred elements of Islam, such as the Quran or the ritual of prayer, or mocked Jewish traditions like the Torah or Sabbath, there would likely be immediate backlash and widespread condemnation from both the media and advocacy groups. The fact that Catholicism is often treated differently raises serious concerns about the fairness and respect in the public sphere. This brings us to the critical point Bishop Barron raises. Why are we as Catholics allowing such mockery to persist without response? His message isn't about reacting with emotional outrage, but rather about engaging thoughtfully and firmly. By remaining silent or passive, we unintentionally convey that such actions are acceptable. Instead, Bishop Barron urges us to respond with conviction, defending the sacredness of our faith while maintaining respect and clarity in our responses. In the next clip, Bishop Barron explains why power structures often view the Catholic Church as their primary adversary and the greatest threat to their authority. Let's listen.
The most extreme forms of modernism, let's say, of the modern movement, have always recognized Catholicism as the great enemy. So there's a type of agnosticism or an aggressive atheism in the West today that correctly sees Christianity as the enemy. And so they regularly bring it out, to knock it around, or they try aggressively to go after it. And we have to stand to thwart that. I think Christians can't tolerate that kind of attack. We saw it last summer at the Olympics. Infuriated me. I see this obvious mockery of the Last Supper.
On such a huge global stage.
And there was no accident there. That stage was chosen to mock Christianity. We should not roll over when that happens. We should raise our voices in strong resistance and criticism.
You created a video about that.
As I listened to Bishop Barron, It reminded me of Jesus' words in John chapter 15 verses 20. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. This is a sobering reminder that as Catholics, we should expect opposition and persecution from worldly powers. These power structures understand that the Catholic Church holds a unique combination of moral authority, loyalty to God, and spiritual power, all of which enable it to resist evil ideologies and unjust human policies. Simply put, as long as the Church maintains its influence, the state cannot fully claim allegiance of the people. This understanding places a greater responsibility on us as Catholics to not only defend the Church, but also to proclaim and uphold its teachings with conviction, standing firm in our faith despite external pressures. But we must remember to respond in the way Scripture teaches us. As Romans chapter 12 verses 21 reminds us, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Finally, I would like to conclude with the words of Pope Francis, who said, when Christians face a choice between being faithful to Jesus or to the world, they are called to always choose Jesus, but without aggression or revenge, always with meekness and patience. I hope this video is helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. God bless you.